Anybody that isolates, that has fear of commitment, that runs from relationships or fear of intimacy is an avoidant. There's just different types in how it functions. And one of the hardest ones to work with is dismissive avoidance. And usually if there is an anxious attached person, there's usually a dismissive avoidant with them. So they usually go together just like a codependent with a narcissist. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave? Or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Join me each week as we take a deep dive into one subject, exploring the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. This is a new chapter of Secret Life, and I'm excited for you to join the ride. Today, we are talking about dun, 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 dismissive avoidance. Oh, such a great subject matter. One of the worst attachment styles to work on and to help somebody heal from. And so many people lately are dismissive avoidants. They really are. There's 2 types of avoidance. There's fearful avoidance and dismissive. I will do one on fearful avoidance because they are completely different. But the point is they're love avoidance. And a lot of times when you are dealing with sex addicts or sex and love addicts, underneath all of that, they're avoidance. So anybody that isolates, that has fear of commitment, that runs from relationships or fear of intimacy is an avoidant. There's just different types in how it functions. And one of the hardest ones to work with is dismissive avoidance. And usually if there is an anxious attached person, there's usually a dismissive avoidant with them. So they usually go together just like a codependent with a narcissist. Codependent is usually someone that has anxious attachment or a love addiction, and a narcissist is usually a love avoidant. So that's really, it's a very basic attachment style, and this one is the worst. So let's actually talk about it. In the dating world, right now, especially with dating online, a lot of people are having characteristics of dismissive avoidance because dismissive avoidants love to love bomb. They love to trauma bond. They love to live out a fantasy at the beginning, seem very available. They usually can quote a lot of therapy things like, I've worked on myself. I'm very busy. I'm very self-assured. I'm very independent. I know what I want. And they love bomb, and they really show up in a very positive looking way. Like they seem very put together, but they're small signs. So let's talk about them. They stay surface level. You don't go deep with them. That is the first thing. They suppress their emotions. They don't like to go deep. And the moment they go deep, you see them a little bit pull away. So they avoid or downplay their emotions. That is the number one thing. So if you're with somebody or dating somebody and you have an emotion and they downplay it, or they don't even like ask how you're doing, or you see them shut down a little, or they should have an emotion, but they downplay it. Ding, 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 ding. That's probably a dismissive avoidant. So that's red flag number 1, because that's the number one thing they do. They literally prioritize independence. I am independent. I don't need anyone. I'm not looking for a relationship. I haven't had a relationship. My ex was too needy. They wanted too much from me. I am independent. I am self-sufficient. I don't need anyone. This happens with all genders. Now, there is a lot of females that literally act like they don't need anyone. And that's a part of them avoiding to connect to anybody, fear of intimacy. So they accentuate independence, that they don't need anyone. Then they also minimize the needs, the emotional needs of everyone else. So you don't see them having close friendships. You don't see them showing up in a way of other people's emotional needs. It's almost too much for them because usually their parents put their needs on them, or their parents didn't fill their needs as children. So they learned how to have no needs. So they don't think anyone should have any needs either. And they definitely avoid vulnerability. They fucking hate it. So when you try to go deeper, they literally it detests. They don't like it. It repels them when you are vulnerable. So if you feel yourself get vulnerable about something and then that person disappears or shuts down or changes the subject, you're dealing with a dismissive avoidant. They withhold information. You try to get information from them and they give you the bare minimum or none at all. That is a huge deal. They withhold, they withhold, they withhold because they're untrustworthy. They're distrusting of you and they're distrusting of themselves. So they do not rely on people. They do not share information. They can't, because if they do, then they attach to you or connect to you. So they distract themselves. They have tons of hobbies, tons of work. It's hard to get a phone call in. It's hard to set a date. Not at the beginning, though. This is where they trick you. They make themselves look very available at the beginning. So the first week, the first month, the first 2 months, they literally are pursuing you and looking available and making plans and all of that. And then it teeterly slowly, they get really, really busy because you become more human to them. Your needs become more open, because when you get to know somebody more, you open up and you have more connection and more vulnerability and more needs, and they can't handle that. So they almost act like the perfect person at the beginning, showing up in every way possible, painting the pretty picture, and then they get busier and busier once you get to know them. So, physical distance. Avoidants create physical distance and avoid contact, which means they don't text back after that period of time. They stop texting, they stop making themselves physically available. There's a part of them that then feels superior to you because they don't need you. So they looking very confident. They don't physically need to be around you. They don't need to talk to you as much. They don't need to connect to you, text to you, FaceTime, show up. They will physically distance themselves. And lastly, they avoid conflict at all costs. So if you try to have a conversation or work out something that's bothering you, they deflect. They don't want to have a conflict. They will avoid it. They literally will look at what is wrong with you. You're making a big deal about this. You have a problem, and they will deflect it towards you, and they will avoid conflict. They will almost tell you what you want to hear so that they don't have to have a conflict, and it will drive you absolutely batshit crazy. So if you are dating somebody that you feel like you're not getting a straight answer from, or they're not being clear with you, you are dealing with a dismissive avoidant, because they will literally jump all over the place and try to give you the answer you need. So you will back off. So you will stop bothering them because you are needing too much. So look at that. If that is happening, here's what we need to go into. They are unwilling. Here's the reason. They are unwilling to acknowledge childhood pain. They don't want to look at it. They do not have passion for parts of themselves that are shut down, because they don't have passion for parts of your shutdown. They will not pay attention to feelings. They don't want to connect. They will compromise the relationship. They will not share vulnerability, and they have a hard time apologizing. a real apology. They'll say they're sorry just for it to be over, but you can tell they're not very sorry. So you will feel like a crazy person. And this has been happening lately. People have been dating, and two people I'm working with are dating dismissive avoidance. And I'm legit telling them this is the most you're going to get from this person. And if this is the most you're going to get and this is good enough for you, then be okay with it. But you are not going any deeper with this person. This person has no desire to go deeper. This person has no desire to get in a real relationship. It's going to be the bare minimum. You're going to see this person every 3 weeks, and that's just it. And they're not going to make an effort anymore. You're past the stage of them pursuing you and actually getting you attached, and they know it. So they're not going to do any more work. And this has to be enough for you if you want to stay in this. And so the difference between a fearful avoidant and that is a fearful avoidant actually wants a relationship, but they don't know how to keep them. A dismissive avoidant actually blocks the relationship. It dismisses the relationship. It doesn't want one. So it actually will do everything it can not to have the relationship. A fearful avoidant gets really anxious in a relationship, an intimate relationship, and they don't know how to deal with their own anxiety and insecurity. A dismissive avoidant will just shut down. Shut down. If they are triggered, they will shut down. They don't get anxious. They don't try to figure it out. They just shut down. So you will feel the coldness immediately. And that happened when someone was dating somebody and all of a sudden they stopped texting. They stopped. The moment they got triggered and it reminded them of their ex, even though it was not the same situation, they shut down because they didn't want anything. So instead of talking about it and saying, wow, that triggered me, what you just said reminded me of my ex, and this is why I felt this way. Instead, he just shut down and he was done. They are done. You cannot open up a dismissive avoidant. You cannot text anything pretty. You cannot apologize. You cannot take accountability. They are done, especially if you haven't been together for a long time. They are done. They're not willing to work through the uncomfortability within themselves or to open up that. It is too much for them. So if they are not with you a long time and working through with a therapist or somebody helping them with their attachment style, they are done. The other thing is fearful avoidance. So you can know the difference. I just want you to know a little bit. They are afraid of rejection and they have low self-esteem. A dismissive avoidant has an inflated sense of self. They think they are great and they judge other people and they don't want to stoop to their level. And so they are fine just by themselves, even though in the back of their mind, they feel like a piece of shit. So it's like really far back there. But to get to that for a dismissive avoidant, it takes a lot of time. So on top of it, it looks like they are feeling good about themselves. They have they achieve a lot, but they judge others. But underneath, they feel really small and they're terrified of being connected to another person and engulfed by them. Fearful avoidance. They depend on others. They are vulnerable, but they are very distrustful and they fear deeply, deeply, like almost to a catastrophic level. Dismissive avoidance, they do not depend on others. They are career driven and they value self-reliance. That is it. So anybody that says, I am so busy at work right now, I can't make a plan for Saturday night. Maybe we can do it 2 weeks from Thursday. Really? You can't spare an hour to show up and go have a slice of pizza so we can connect on a Thursday night for an hour in between the work and then when you go home? Anybody that says, oh, I have to work out after work, and then I have to do this call, and then I have to go to bed early, and they are unwilling to make time for you, run. Run, 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 run. Or they say, I have my kids this weekend. I can't find any time to talk. I'll try to reach you on Sunday night after I give them back to their mom. I'm making this up, but you get what I'm saying. Run, 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 run. You are not going to be a priority. This person has a lot of work. Abort mission. Just because they love bomb you, just because they trauma bond you on the first couple of dates, they overshared, you feel like you really know them, you got sexual with them and all of that. It is not real. Abort mission. Save yourself. If you are not married to a dismissive avoidant, you are not going to change them. Move on. Let it go. Nothing you could do could ever bring them back. And these are the behaviors. One more time, let's run through them. The behaviors that trigger them that you can. Disrespect of their alone time, displaying big emotions, being too codependent and clingy, excessive need for communication, assuming how they're feeling, jumping to conclusion of how they're feeling, and they do not like being controlled by anybody. Those are going to trigger them. And unfortunately, those things, communication, you need for a relationship. Emotions, you need to show emotions in a relationship. Yes, alone time is great, but you also got to spend time together. Asking how other people feel, are like, you seem sad, kind of important in a relationship. Not controlling. A partnership is not great. But the rest of them, those are triggers, but those are required for relationships in a healthy way. So if you are doing any of those things and the person you are with is pulling away, really look at, do I want to deal with this the rest of my life? Because this will keep happening and getting worse, and you are going to be hanging on to air, to nothing, and you are going to get the crumbs of a dismissive avoidant. And it is very painful. It is very painful to ride that roller coaster because they are never going to give you what you want. It's going to be crumbs. And the moment, hear me, the moment you pull away and you decide to heal, they run back. They want it. They want that attention, that validation, you pursuing them. So they most likely will come back and try to reattach to you so they can feel that need of being wanted again. And then the cycle starts all over again. And that's just what happens. And it comes from their childhood. It comes from their needs not being met at childhood. So they suppress their needs. And now they don't think they have any needs. So there's no way to fix that except inner child work, deep trauma work that most of them don't want to do. So I hope that helped. Please keep listening to Secret Life Podcast. If you have any questions about this subject, reach out, secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you'd like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.